As a Japanese housewife living in the US, I want to look at the counterfacts of socialization from unique perspectives.
Have you ever circled a block for what feels like an eternity, hunting for that mythical creature? A free parking spot? You see that one empty space from a distance, your heart leaps, you speed up only to find it's a fire hydrant or a loading zone. The frustration is real. But what if I told you that the very concept of free parking is the reason for all this chaos? What if free parking is actually one of the most expensive things in our cities? Today, we're diving deep into something called the free parking paradox. It sounds a bit academic, but trust me, it affects your daily life, your wallet, and even the air you breathe. The paradox is simple. When we make parking free, we think we're saving money, but in reality, it creates a cascade of hidden costs that everyone ends up paying for, whether you drive a car or not. Let's break it down. First, where does all this free parking come from? It's not magic. Developers are often required by city zoning laws to build a minimum number of parking spaces for every new building, whether it's a coffee shop, an apartment complex, or a giant supermarket. These rules, known as minimum parking requirements, were put in place decades ago with the best intentions to prevent streets from being clogged with cars. But here's the catch. Building parking is incredibly expensive. A single surface parking spot can cost thousands of dollars to construct. For a structured garage, that number can skyrocket to $30, $40, or even $60,000 per space. So, who pays for that? Well, the developer does, initially, but they're not just going to absorb that cost. They roll it into the price of everything else. Think about it. The rent for your apartment. It's higher because the cost of building your designated spot and all the guest spots is baked in. The price of your groceries, it's inflated to cover the cost of that massive parking lot outside the store. The cost of your burrito at that new restaurant? Yep, you're paying for the parking there too. So, even if you don't own a car, even if you bike, walk, or take the bus, you are subsidizing parking for drivers. You're paying a parking tax on almost everything you buy and every place you live. That doesn't seem very fair, does it? This is the first major hidden cost of free parking. Everyone pays. But only drivers directly benefit. But the costs don't stop there. Let's talk about the search. An urban planning professor named Donald Shoup, who is basically the rock star of parking research, found that in some city centers, up to 30% of traffic is just people cruising for a parking spot. This is what experts call cruising for parking. All this circling around isn't just a waste of your time and fuel. It creates massive amounts of unnecessary traffic congestion. More congestion means more gridlock, more air pollution from exhaust fumes, and more greenhouse gas emissions contributing to climate change. And the irony is, all these drivers are circling around, polluting the air, looking for a free spot, which encourages even more people to drive, creating a vicious cycle. This leads us to the impact on our city's design. All that land dedicated to parking can be used for anything else. Think about your favorite streets. Is it lined with vibrant shops, outdoor cafes, and parks? Or is it flanked by vast, empty oceans of asphalt. Minimum parking requirements force us to dedicate huge chunks of valuable urban land to storing empty cars. This car-centric design makes our cities less walkable, less bikeable, and less human-friendly. It pushes buildings further apart, creating sprawl that makes public transit less efficient. It replaces potential parks, housing, or small businesses with ugly heat-absorbing parking lots that contribute to the urban heat island effect, making our cities hotter in the summer. We are literally sacrificing lively, beautiful community spaces for car storage. So, if free parking is such a disaster, what's the alternative? The solution, according to Professor Shoup and many urban planners, is to get the prices right. This doesn't mean making all parking outrageously expensive. It means using market principles to manage demand. One of the most effective strategies is performance-based pricing, or dynamic pricing. The idea is to adjust the price of on-street parking based on demand, aiming for about an 85% occupancy rate. That means on any given block, 1 or 2 spaces should always be available. If a block is always full, the price goes up slightly. If it's always empty, the price goes down. The goal isn't to gouge drivers for money. It is to make it just easy enough to find a spot that you don't have to circle the block. This simple change can dramatically reduce cruising, traffic, and pollution. And what do we do with the revenue generated from this smarter parking? We can reinvest it directly back into the neighborhood. The money could be used to fix sidewalks, plant trees, install better lighting, or even fund local public transit. When people see their parking meter money directly improving their own community, they're much more likely to support the program. It turns parking from a frustrating chore into a community benefit. Another key step is to eliminate or reform those outdated minimum parking requirements. Let developers and businesses decide for themselves how much parking they actually need based on their customers and location. A bar next to a subway station probably needs a lot fewer spots than a big box store in the suburbs. This frees up land for more productive uses, like housing, which can help address affordability, or green spaces that make our cities more livable. Cities around the world are already starting to embrace these ideas. Places like San Francisco with its Ivy Park program, and cities like Buffalo and Edmonton that have completely eliminated parking minimums citywide, are seeing incredible results. They're seeing less traffic, more vibrant business districts, and a shift towards more sustainable transportation. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This will hurt low-income people who rely on their cars. That's a valid concern, but the current system of free parking already hurts low-income households disproportionately. They are the ones paying the hidden parking tax on rent and goods, even if they can't afford a car. Smarter parking management, combined with targeted programs like discounts for low-income residents and major investments in public transit, can create a much more equitable system for everyone. The free parking paradox shows us how a seemingly small, common-sense policy can have enormous negative consequences. It's a perfect example of hidden costs and unintended outcomes. By making parking free, we've made our cities more expensive, more polluted, more congested, and less pleasant. The next time you're stuck in traffic or circling for a spot, remember the paradox. The solution isn't more free parking. The solution is smarter parking. It's about treating parking not as but as a valuable piece of urban real estate that needs to be managed wisely for the benefit of the entire community. By rethinking our relationship with the parked car, we can start building cities that are for people, not just for parking. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this topic interesting, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden forces that shape our world. Let me know in the comments what you think about the parking situation in your city. See you in the next video.